chapter, chapter 11, is all about fractions. The first lesson is just going over a brief overview of what a fraction is. So, a fraction is a way that we distinguish certain parts of a whole. So, I use the analogy of a stick, so we're actually going to keep using that. So, let's say I have one stick right here, and I break it into 5 pieces. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, they're not even pieces, but pretend like these are all even pieces. We break it into 5, and I select 2 of them. So 1 and 2. So now I have 2/5 of my stick. So there's ways that fractions are equivalent, right? So let's say I take this same stick and I want to break each piece into 2 pieces. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. 10 pieces, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are colored in. So now I have 4/10 of my stick. So as you can see, I didn't change how much of the stick I have from here to here. So that means that 2/5 is equal to 4/10. The way we get that is we take 4 and 10, right? And we see that both of these share a 2, right? 2 times 2 equals 4. 2 times 5 equals 10. So if I get rid of one of these 2's, I'm left with 2 and 5, right? This is 4/10. This is how we will reduce a lot of our fractions. Now, we can compute these fractions into decimal form. If you notice, we have this line here, which means that we're just going to do division. So the way I like to think of it is you take 2/5, you tip it over to the right, and the top number falls in the box. We're going to write 5, 2, right? It fell over, then I put 2 in a box. And then I can compute this however I want. 5 goes into 24 times, but I have to bring this decimal up. So I can, like I reduced from here to here, this is reducing, I can actually make this bigger. So let's say I have 3/5, and I have, let's do 1/2. Let's say I want to write this as a fraction of 10. Write each as a fraction of 10. So all I'm going to do here is I can, as we remember, 1 times x equals x, right? So if I have 3/5 times 1, I'm going to get 3/5. And if you remember, 1 equals x over x. So I can write this 1 as some number over itself. So I'm going to do 3/5 times 2/2, because 5 times 2 is going to give me 10. So this is going to become 6/10. And then I'm going to take 1/2, and I have to do some number over itself to get 10. So 2 times what would give me 10? 2 times 5, right? So I have to write a 5 up here as well. So I'm going to end up with 5 over 10. So now these are both in written as fractions of 10. And since they both have a common denominator, which just means the bottom number is the same, so they both have 10 as their denominator, I can actually add these two, and it will give me 6 plus 5 over 10, which is equal to 11 over 10. Now, this is a little messy, but this is kind of just a brief overview of fractions. I think you guys have covered this before, but it's always good to go back and review a little bit before we proceed into the next chapters, which have to do with algebraic fractions. So that will be fractions with variables, adding and subtracting fractions, and multiplication, and so on and so forth. So this is just a brief overview of fractions, and let me know if you have any trouble with the lesson.